And Portal Space Systems builds spacecraft that allow movement in space to build the Supernova and Starburst. That's new. Tell me, for those who don't know, what do these spacecraft do?
Great question. So the exciting thing about what we do at Portal is we are fixing a problem that has been with the industry for quite some time, which is spacecraft on orbit now can't move very quickly to accomplish a task. So if you're a defense department and you need to react to something on orbit, or you have a problem with your spacecraft, you're a commercial company, you can't really go from A to B in any short time frame. So what does that mean? It means today it might take weeks or months to get one spacecraft to move from one place to another in orbit. We can do that in hours or days. And so it really changes the game on being responsive to threats that are on orbit today. It also can be responsive to repair and logistics of commercial and civil space activities as well.
Tell me how the Supernova and the Starburst differ.
Great question. So the exciting part for us is we were developing a small spacecraft to fly this year. We're flying it in October. And that spacecraft was really just going to reduce our risk for our larger Supernova spacecraft, which moves between orbits and accomplishes this rapid maneuverability. What happened was we started to build and advertise to our customers that we were doing this on our own to reduce the risk and ensure success. And a lot of our customers said, hey, that has more capability than some of the things we have now. Would you be willing to build more of those? And so we decided in November to make a new product that we call Starburst, which is a smaller version of Supernova. Still very agile, can accomplish a lot of missions for defense and commercial customers. And so that led to two product lines, and they both use the same hardware, and so we have a very tight supply chain, and now we can be even more responsive. It was really about us trying to be super responsive to our defense customers specifically that need capability on orbit as fast as possible. And then we're flying the first one in October. We can start to produce them next year and then the year after in our new manufacturing facility in Bothell, and I think that's got a lot of excitement for those particular customers.
Talk about what's coming up March 9th, though, because you have a milestone even before October.
That's true. So after we just had our 4-year anniversary in November, and we're super excited about our first mission to space. So we have a payload that we call Mini Nova, which is the brains of all of our spacecraft. It has a lot of critical sensors and features that we want to test on orbit as fast as possible. And so we're riding on a spacecraft March 9th that's going to launch from Vandenberg Air Force Space Force Base now, they call it, on a Falcon 9. And we're going to spend 6 months testing out our key critical systems. And then we're going to launch the first Starburst in October. So it's a huge year for Portal. 2 missions to orbit for a young company is a big deal in any right. And credit to the team for just knocking it out of the park with how quickly they're moving, and the talent that I've been able to attract in the Seattle area to do that has been phenomenal.
Talk a little bit about your location. You specifically have chosen Bothell in Snohomish County. Why have you chosen that location?
Well, I often joke that about 4 years ago, my wife looked at me and she said, I really don't want to move anymore. And she moved a lot in my career. And so she fell in love with this area, as did I. So that's half the reason. The other half really is with companies like Blue Origin and SpaceX, Starlink, Amazon Leo, and others that are here. There's just a huge spacecraft talent pool in the Pacific Northwest that rivals even Los Angeles, which is probably the next big hub of aerospace. So I picked Snohomish County and Bothell because I felt like it was an untapped resource for talent, for a family atmosphere that would really be attractive to employees. It's a place that my wife and I love to live, and it's really resonated. We're about a 30-person company now, growing. We'll probably double that this year or more. And I think the thing that's really interesting to people is not just our mission, but where we're located and what the area offers, because that's important to this next generation of engineers and workforce is, what is the environment they're working in, what's available to them and their families, and this area is fantastic for that.
And you want people to stay. You want your employees to stay.
I do. Yeah, I'm a big believer in developing our staff so that they want to stay and fulfill either a huge part of their career or maybe even all their career with our company. And you don't just get that from having a cool mission and having cool hardware you build. People want to know that they're valued. And so I think this area combined with that leadership approach is really a force multiplier to grow our business. And and it's really been a key to our success so far.
And growing is exactly what you're doing. You've already announced expansion plans in Bothell. Tell me about the new facility that's under construction right now.
Yes, so there's always exciting things. I guess there's a lot of excitement since we spoke last. So we have a 6,000 square foot facility we're operating in now, where we're building all the hardware for this year's missions that I talked about. And then last summer we leased a 52,000 square foot manufacturing center just a couple of miles south of where we are in Bothell. And so with the help of the Bothell mayor and city manager and then the county, we were really able to quickly secure an ideal location for our expansion. So we're going to build 12 Supernova and 16 Starburst spacecraft a year in that facility as we bring it up to speed. And so it'll be a gradual process through next year and early 27, but as we close 27 into 28, we'll be manufacturing at full capacity and serving our customer needs. And again, growing beyond 100 plus people, headed towards 200 and as we bring that facility online. So a lot of growth opportunity for that, and that's all sized and will function based on customer demand that we're seeing now. And so that's really what's driving that excitement. And I know that the local area is very excited about the type of employee opportunities that are going to exist because of that expansion.
Yeah, tell me about the reception you've already received from Snohomish County and also from the governor's office.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's been a surprise, but I would say I've been delighted to work closely with the local officials. It started out at our ribbon cutting ceremony that we had at our first facility, where I got to know the mayor of Bothell, and then that kind of translated into a lot of the local representation. Congresswoman Del Bene has been a fantastic resource as well at the federal level. We traveled with Snohomish County and others in Washington State to the Paris Air Show last summer and got to know them. And they really got excited about how quickly we were building the company and expanding. And so the City of Bothell, Snohomish County sponsored what is known as the Governor's Strategic Reserve Fund application that we had. And we were fortunate enough to be selected for a grant from the Governor's Strategic Reserve, which helps accelerate our manufacturing center that we're bringing online this summer. So that was not planned for or anticipated, but it's a pleasure to accelerate our interaction because it just helps us build those relationships that I want to have as we grow the company over the next couple of years.
What is it like to scale at the rate you're scaling at right now? How do you feel about it?
I feel okay about it, but if you asked my staff or folks at the company, I think it gives them pause because one of the most stressful things people endure at work is a rapidly growing business because every day there's something different. And so if you're the type of person that kind of wants to have the same thing every day, a growing startup company will probably make that person uncomfortable. But I think when you have constant change as a growing startup, you just have new challenges every day. I'm excited by that because I like that variety. But I think it can be stressful on people because one day you're 4 people and the next you're 30, and then you turn around and now you're 60 to 100. And then the stakes are higher. We have customers that are depending on us to deliver, and we're proud of that. But that also brings stress to deliver and be successful. So I think all of that can be channeled in a healthy way. And I think as long as you support and value your employees, help them work through that stress. But I think that's what it's like at a growing startup. It's exciting and it's also stressful. And I think it's incumbent upon me and my leadership team to make sure we're supporting our people through that process, because that is one of the things I think that makes this so exciting to me. And it makes it exciting to me now because the community is excited about what's happening. The city, the county, the state. And so now I have those stakeholders that we also don't want to disappoint as we grow and execute. So a good kind of stress, but you got to manage it well, I think.
And help your employees manage it as well.
And help your employees, yeah.
What does it mean to Snohomish County to have an aerospace company right there for them, where King County has had so many?
Yeah, I'm proud to be the first in Snohomish County and certainly in Bothell. There's a lot of great startups out there. A lot of them tended to start up and congregate around where Blue Origin is down in King County and near Kent, which you would expect. But I guess my selection of Bothell was somewhat unique because I was being driven by more than just, I didn't have that Blue Origin connection per se. And I think that's really been an asset to us because the facilities and the things that are here for businesses as well as the employees have been somewhat untapped from a beyond biotech. Bothel's a huge biotech area. I'm surrounded by biotech companies in Bothell, and so I like that we're unique in that, and we've gotten so much interest and support because of it.
Since last we spoke in September, you completed the first successful space environment test of a commercial solar thermal propulsion system. How does that get you closer to your overall mission? And for those that don't know, what exactly does that mean?
Right. Well, I mentioned earlier that our spacecraft can move faster than anything that exists today on orbit. And how we did that is I spent the first half of my career as a propulsion engineer and expert. Fortunate enough to architect the Raptor engine program at SpaceX and other things that I did for the Air Force and NASA. So what I wanted to do is really solve the problem. So we developed a new type of propulsion system that uses the sun to heat our propellant in a very, very effective, efficient way that gives us very fast movement and very efficient movement. And then we built a spacecraft around it and said to our customers, we don't just want to have this cool Star Trek-like thing, we want to solve your mission problems for you. And so as much as the tech is cool, for us it's really about we're providing a unique spacecraft that doesn't exist, that can do things that a lot of our customers wish they could have done 5 or 10 years ago. And to do that, we really had to re-engineer the way we built spacecraft and how it had been done in the industry. And as the gray hair suggests, I'm starting my 31st year in the space industry. So I've been around long enough, worked with a lot of great people, been fortunate enough to have some of those people want to keep working with me over the years and solve a problem like this. And so the combination of the technology with really customer focus with a great team is our secret sauce, so to speak.
I'm sure the customers think this can't get here soon enough, like they're ready for this.
They want it as fast as possible, and especially on the defense side, we're really trying to bring validation of this approach to them no later than 2027. So the fact that we're flying 2 missions that risk reduce here in 2026 is huge for our defense customers, and then bringing on the full capability in 27 answers the mail in terms of what they want from a defense posture standpoint. But then there's lots of commercial applications too. We've got tens of thousands of objects in low Earth orbit right now. There's lots of commercial opportunities to work some of the problems they have on orbit as well. So it can't be a more exciting time to work in the space industry than right now.
Okay, big year ahead with
Big year.
when the first thing starting in March with the Mini Nova.
March 9th.
Yeah, okay. All right, Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, Holly.